this idea of allowing a much broader swathe of subdivisions across our cities comes from CEDA. They are the Committee for Economic Development of Australia. Danica Adams is the senior economist there. Good morning, Danica.
Good morning, Raf.
There's an intriguing phrase you've been using, gentle density. What is gentle density?
Yeah, look, gentle density is really that middle. It's that low to mid density. We're not calling on high-rise apartments, and we're not looking at the outer suburban new developments. What we're looking at is the inner ring areas and developing them more dense. So we're looking at duplexes and townhouses and low-rise apartment buildings, triplexes as well. So just really increasing the number of homes on these existing really well-located area lots.
How different do you want the rules to be for subdivisions?
Look, I think there are certain zoning regulations across our entire country that some local governments have as legacy regulation that hinders the ability to do this. So we're not forcing this on anyone, but it's a choice, and changing those zoning regulations allows the ability to increase the number of homes on these lots.
Is it a choice? Is it a binary choice between sort of 6 to 10 story apartment towers or lots of subdivisions?
So that's what we're trying to do. We know that they are an important part of increasing housing, but we also know that doing it this way, this gentle density, increasing housing in our inner suburban areas is also really important. We have looked at if we looked at our five largest cities, and if we looked at just one quarter of those standalone lots in those cities, we think if you were to double them, and that is the modest version of this, you could definitely triplex it, you could put a few townhouses on there, a low-rise apartment. But we know even if you just did the mildest form of this and just went from 1 to 2 homes, we could add almost 1 million homes across the country. And we know that we desperately need that 1 million homes.
Barry's got a suggestion for you, Danica. Can we please call this policy Density's Child? Which is just golden. Density's child, gentle density. Either way, Danica Adams is with us from CEDA. Danica, I was just looking at the state government changes that have come in October. So they say it's making it easier to subdivide. But the current rules, you still have to observe things like heritage overlay, environmental overlay, privacy, design standards, that sort of stuff. Would CEDA be arguing to get rid of something like heritage overlays?
Yeah, so Melbourne has done some great work recently, but we certainly think it could go further. We do know that some of these overlays are used in some local governments to get around increasing density. So we do think that this needs to be looked at, and really the blanket increased zoning is the way to go. So
that, to be really clear, blanket increased zoning means environmental and heritage overlays would go.
There's certainly areas where it would need to be observed, I think, but there are areas, and we often hear this anecdotally, where a home is in a heritage overlay and it was built in the 90s. So certainly the way the overlays are often imposed is quite blanket. So there needs to be a more nuanced approach so we don't lose the ability to develop there.
Which suburbs in Melbourne?
I actually don't have any. I'm located in Perth, so I don't have any off the top of my head. But I can tell you historically kind of the South Melbourne areas do this really well. Like the townhouses that were built a long time ago is exactly what we're calling for. It's this gentle density. People have lived there for an incredibly long time and lived there well. It's a really great part of the country.
Danica Adams, just before I let you go, for politicians to say across broad swathes of what I'll call the inner ring, so I'm talking everything from Carlton round to sort of Camberwell down to Cheltenham, which is that sort of middle ring of suburbs. If politicians said, yep, 1 in 4 homes can subdivide, no heritage overlay, no environmental overlay, it's a bit like turkeys voting for Christmas, isn't it? Like no politician's going to say yes to that because they'll get kicked out of the next election, won't they?
See, I think the tide is turning because this really is a crisis. We're really starting to know people that are impacted if you're not personally already impacted by this, by not being able to afford a home. I think we're seeing the next generation unable to live near their families and their friends and the amenities that they want to live near. So I think even if personally people aren't impacted. They're certainly becoming more aware that the people they know are impacted by this. And so I do believe that the tide is turning there. There will always be opposition. There'll be people who will be staunchly against any form of density forever. But I really think as this becomes more and more of a crisis, then we will have no choice but to do this.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Raf.
Danica Adams there from CEDA, the Committee for Economic Development of Australia.